Yo, it's your boy Marcus and Wersony back from the video. Today we're kind of doing a weekly recap and like a Call of Duty League recap, some sports, football, basketball, whatever, and then round it out with a little bit of COD Mobile. Here you'll see some COD Mobile firing range control gameplay and ranked, so feast your eyes because that's not really the point of this video, but it exists. That being said, let's kind of dive into the big thing I want to talk about was the COD League. So I've talked about the COD League a lot on my channel throughout the past year and a half. I guess I've been making videos, and it's kind of I watch the COD League a lot. That is competitive Call of Duty on console, so that would be Black Ops 6 for those of y'all who aren't familiar, the competitive scene in that game. And there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of stuff going on with that, and just an overall just chaotic scene, I guess, because there's a lot of things that have happened that are unexpected. So first off, we'll talk about FaZe Clan. They are probably at the worst state of their entire tenure together. Simp, BZ, Draza, and Celium. Yeah, they don't look good at all, but I got a feeling they'll figure it out. Simp has been the best player in COD, or at least a top two COD player for the last like 7 years. So I don't expect that to change. And then BZ's been insane. He's been the best aggro SMG or aggressive SMG for anybody not really sure of that role. In probably ever. If there's a role and you had to pick somebody for that role, you probably wouldn't pick the best SMG player ever. I feel like you would just pick him. Because when it comes to being the first guy in the hard point and just taking out one, maybe two, maybe popping three, he's the guy. He's the guy you want to go in first. And then Celium, obviously Celium is probably the most annoying player of all time. I think people hate Celium because when you can snaking is an insanely broken mechanic. You won't see that in COD Mobile, mainly because doing it is kind of difficult and you gotta play with more fingers. I've done it, and maybe I'll show you how to do it, but it's not really ideal and it doesn't work as well. And I think you have to change some settings for that in COD Mobile. But on console, it's pretty easy to do. You're on a controller, you have analog sticks, you can do it really easily. So yeah. And then Draza, super big grinder, has always been a good COD player, so he's been around for a while. He's a world champion. All of them are. And I think they'll figure it out. FaZe Clan should be just fine. That being said, let's hop into probably the biggest team of the year that everyone's kind of wanting to talk about is the LA Thieves. They have been very good. LA Thieves have been very good. They're undefeated. I know they're like saying they haven't performed as good as they can. Obviously, you can always do better. But, I mean, they're undefeated. What more? Other than undefeated and having not lost the map yet, there's not much more you can do. You know what I mean? They haven't lost yet. So, that being said, I think LA Thieves probably the best team in the game right now. Carolina Royal Ravens, also undefeated. Gotta be honest, man. Kind of a strange run. Like, nobody's expecting them to be this good. And for them to be as good as they are, it's kind of crazy. Shout out to Crumble Cookie for helping out TJ Haley, or Tej, for anybody familiar with the COD scene. And very interesting team dynamic. Seeing Vivid on an AR when he's been an SMG like all of his career. So, yeah, Royal Ravens, definitely the biggest surprise of the season. Even more so, I think, than FaZe. And the other undefeated team to talk about is the Toronto Ultra. Now, I've been saying this, and I'll keep echoing this sentiment. My MVP for the 2024-2025 COD League season is Kleenex. I said it before the season started. I'll keep saying it until the season's over. He's my MVP, and I'm sticking with it. I think that he should win MVP this season. I think he's been on the cusp, on the edge, game after game. He's finally back on a Treyarch game, and he is a Treyarch Reaper. Like, he destroys people in Treyarch games, and I think that's going to continue. He's going to be insane at this game. It's a lot like Cold War. He's using the AK-74U like Cold War was. The maps are kind of mid like Cold War was, and the movement is got slide canceling, so it's kind of cool. And it's got omni movement, but whatever. You get the point. So Toronto Ultra with Insight, Joe Deceives, Beans, and Kleenex, they 4-0. They're lighting up, man. They look pretty solid. So they were kind of my underdog pick this year to take a major or something. So seeing them do good is good because I'm a big Kleenex guy. That being said, let's talk about my team, Optic Texas. We are 3-1, I believe. We lost to Boston. I can't, whatever. First game of the season, doesn't matter. I think they'll figure it out. They'll get back on track. I know the Hook stuff and the Fred stuff is all over the place. Like, if you watch any competitive Call of Duty, you have 100% heard of Fred getting dropped and like the org almost like seemingly disowning him, but they didn't really come out and say that until like later on in a podcast. So it's kind of hard to say what's going on there. But Hook coming in is not really surprising at all. He was supposed to already be in the league essentially, and since he was in Challengers, he was just destroying all those kids because the level of skill from Challengers to competitive like the COD League is definitely, there's a gap there, right? So they just don't know what to do against him. He's super aggressive, so he's just running it down, just absolutely running people over pretty much. That's how it's going when he's down there in Challengers. So he gets picked up. He's been with these guys before. I mean, he's won a world championship online in Modern Warfare 2019 with Shotzi. So, I mean, he's a very familiar name, very familiar face to the scene. Dashy's playing in MVP form. I think he's probably number one in MVP voting if it was to end today. But my pick is obviously Kleenex. I think he'll take that over. Even though I'm an Optic fan, I'd be fine with Dashy winning it. I think Kleenex has just been so underrated his whole career. And then Kenny's still there, kind of just getting scapegoated when he's not really the problem. So, yeah, that's all I got for Optic. And really the CDL as a whole, we got the Minor 1 tournament coming up. So the way they're doing it this season is like a couple of, like season standing games for every team on a couple of weekends, and then a minor tournament, and then a couple more of those season standing games, and then a major tournament. And they're going to keep recycling that like 5 times. And then we'll have the big Abu Dhabi tournament at the end of the season as well. It's pretty interesting. Another cool thing about it is they're going to be in Barcelona, I think, or Madrid, one of those 2 Spain cities that for like the first tournament. So that's pretty dope. That being said, I kind of covered everything I wanted to cover about the COD scene. That's most of this video, so kind of touched on all that. A few other things I want to touch on. Fantasy football, I'll touch on that real quick. I lost in all my fantasy football leagues that I paid money to buy into, so that sucks. But the one league that I didn't pay money to buy into, my team looks insane and I'm probably gonna win it. So I don't know, you can't make this up. That being said, we'll kind of hop into some sports stuff. My Cowboys aren't doing nothing. They don't look good, and like we're just winning games just to ruin our draft spot, I guess. I don't really know what we're doing, but we're doing something, I guess. The Dallas Mavericks, having Klay Thompson, I think really helps. Having somebody that can catch and shoot threes seems to help the team dynamic. It's going to hurt Luka Doncic's MVP case, which he should have won it in one of these last 2 years anyway. He's just getting screwed, man. I don't get it. He's getting screwed. That's all I can say. If he ends up being one of those guys, like the best player ever to not win an MVP, that's going to be like sick, because he should absolutely have already won one, right? And if he just maintains the level that he's on now, since he's got these other guys to kind of take pressure off of him, then like what? Like, when's he ever going to win one? You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's kind of irritating. Not to mention all the controversy about the NBA having a 3-point problem. Everybody's talking about it. Like, it's just boring to watch. The ratings are down in the toilet. Nobody wants to watch them shoot 43s a game for each team. 83s, 103s. Like, just, it's ridiculous. So yeah, that's about all I got for kind of this weekly recap video, whatever you want to call this. I don't know. I just got some stuff to talk about that's not necessarily COD Mom related or Road to Diamond or whatever. So this is kind of my way of getting that out. We'll cover the class setup here in the end if you are interested. I'm not a big DRH guy. I don't use it very often nowadays, even though it is probably in the meta because it kills in 3 shots. But that's kind of why I use it in this game, because the other team was really good. You might have saw their names and recognized them. They're pretty good players. A lot of top 5K players, I think. So, yeah. That being said, that's pretty much all I got for you guys. Yeah. I think that's all I got. I don't really know. Not really trying to keep this video rolling on, but I do actually class it up here. Probably replace long shot with something else. I'm not sure what would be best. It used to be no stock, and then they nerfed it into the ground. So I'm pretty sure there's some better attachment you could put on there other than long shot, but I don't know what it would be. But yeah, that being said, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe. And it's been your boy Marcus Omorsini. I'm out of here. Peace.